do the judges. We are not allowed to ask the judges any questions. We are only allowed to hear their backgrounds. So we did invite the 5 judges. Morris, we did not get any response to our invites, which is unfortunate. Bloom as well. Malone, I had no contact information. You guys got to get your contact information up there. But we do have Judge Weisbard, or potential Judge Weisbard, and potential Judge Graff up first. So if you would, just give us 3 minutes. I'll get my phone and I'm going to clock you. Come stand at the podium, please. I'll put this in there. I'm going to give you guys each 3 minutes to tell us about yourselves. Just don't trip.
Okay. Yeah. Just to let you know, we're running for 2 different judgeships, so we're not actually running against each other. And unfortunately, what happens is when you're running for a judgeship, you're under the judicial rules. So it's the first time in my political career where people tell me I can't say certain things, and I actually have to listen. You know, and we're not allowed to talk to you about how we would rule while we're on the bench or any of those questions. So we're really limited on what we can say when we come out in the public. But what we're allowed to do is give you our background. So my background is I'm a Navy veteran. I'm a retired New York City police officer. I was a town supervisor. I worked for legal aid for a little while. I went back and got my law degree and worked for legal aid. I was also, I've been your New York State Assemblyman for the last 7 years, and I've been happy to represent you in that capacity. The other things that I've done is, with the heroin epidemic that was out there, I actually traveled the state and we put together a report on heroin and made suggestions. 70% of that report has been adopted. So there's still a lot more to do, but that's some of the work that I've done that I've been out there. Doug is going to be walking around handing out palm cards, and that gives you my full background. And now what we're actually doing is went out and did domestic violence clinics, and we're trying to come up with solutions to tackle the domestic violence problem out there. So with that, I apologize, but like I said, I'm limited on what I can say. You know, I've handled over 2,000 cases in the district court. I've been happy to have your support in the past, and I hope I can get your support in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Anyone that has any handouts or anything like that, we do have the shelf up there, so please feel free to check the shelf on your way out or during the meeting and take the handouts of the candidates. And now we have potential Judge Weisbard.
Yes, my name is Steve Weisbard, and I've been an attorney 27 years. I grew up in Stony Brook. I graduated from Ward Melville High School. I went to SUNY Albany and Hofstra Law School. Since 2001, I've been in family court every day. In 2001, I was hired as an assistant county attorney to prosecute cases in family court. Every day since then, I have been in family court. I was with the county attorney's office from 2001 to 2012. I can look every one of you in the eye and tell you that every day that I was hired by the county of Suffolk, I arrived an hour early. I generally arrived around 8 o'clock, and I read every file that I had time available before I left the court, before I left the office. I usually left the office before any other attorneys walked in the office to even get ready, because I wanted to be down in the family court section of the courthouse. As soon as the court officers unlocked the door, I was the first attorney in. I made judges' lives easier. They fought over having me in that courtroom. I learned so much because I was in front of so many different judges. When you deal with cases in family court, you're not dealing with files, you're dealing with people's lives. And the reason why I liked it is because I wasn't doing just law. When you deal with family court, you deal with psychology, sociology, medicine. All the things I liked in my undergraduate education, I was able to incorporate into family court practice. The first 5 years, I handled mostly what they call PINS cases, people in need of supervision, which are school-age children that have mental health issues, substance abuse issues, or generally disruptive issues. I read hundreds of diagnostics, psychological diagnostics. We utilized the Sagamore Children's Hospital. We had a juvenile drug court from its initiation. I was the lead prosecutor. I handled thousands of cases, and it kind of changed the paradigm. Back then, I'd say from 2001 to 2011, if you saw a heroin case, it was a one-off. It was never there. And all of a sudden, it blew up. After the first 5 years, because the judge I was working with, we would...
Sorry, you have 1 minute. I was trying to just hold up the one, not to
Okay.
interrupt you.
In 2012, on January 27th, which happened to be my birthday, about a week after Steve Malone was sworn in, a bunch of people in my office were laid off. I got hired by the Legal Aid Society the next week, and the Legal Aid Society is in family court and aid of defense. So I had 10 years as a prosecutor. I've had 6 years as a defense attorney. I've been able to look clients in the eye, point blank range, who are struggling with substance abuse, who have mental health issues, who are behind bars. And it's not that you're always trying to get them off, but sometimes you have to do damage control. They'll always come up with excuses as to why they're dysfunctional, because when you deal with family court, it's not a microcosm of society. It's all the dysfunction distilled into a very small area. And you have to explain to them the best way to reconcile their issues and deal with the system. And I explained to them the quickest way to cross the finish line is to get out of starting blocks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So when you see that, when you hear that noise, that means your 3 minutes is up. I will try to just wave my finger when you have 1 minute and not try to interrupt you or your train of thought. Next up, we have